everyone. Welcome to another episode of Abeg Who Send Me. Abeg Who Send Me is a podcast for entrepreneurs and wannabe entrepreneurs where we discuss about how to build your business, where we bring specialists in different areas to advise entrepreneurs on how to build their businesses, and most especially where we talk about things that we go through and where we can learn from each other and strengthen each other. It's such an honor and a privilege to have a friend on the podcast today. She's a bubbly person, she's a lovely person, and professionally she knows her onions. With over 5 years experience as an HR Generalist, I'm so happy to have Abiola Oreagba on the podcast today. Welcome, Abiola Oreagba.
Hi, Titi.
Hi.
Thank you very much for having me.
You're most welcome.
This is a pleasure and a privilege. Thank you very much.
You're most welcome, Abiola. So straight to the point, Abiola. A lot of people don't want to work for one-man businesses. I do interviews a lot of times, and people will be like, I don't want to work for a one-man business. And you ask them why. They say there's no structure, they pay. I'm like, but it is a one-man business that grows up to be a multinational. So what do you have to say to this, Bella? Why do you think people don't want to work for entrepreneurs or work with entrepreneurs?
Titi, I was in that shoes for some years, and I don't want to go back. So apart from the lack of structure, which is a really big thing, because you want your organization to grow, but you're not willing to put in the structures. You begin to make excuses of how we're just 2 people, only have 3 people on hand, but you forget that your foundations matter. Whatever you start with is what you're going to continue doing. Change is hard. It's possible, but hard. So if you do not have, for example, an offer letter, let me go the HR route. You don't have an offer letter from the beginning. You don't have an handbook. Even if it's just one employee you don't have standard operating processes. You're in the food industry. You don't tell people recipes. They are cooking jollof rice. There should be a standardized recipe that no matter how many cooks goes, your food will taste the same.
Okay.
You don't have those things in place, and when professionals give you this advice, you struggle off and like, I beg. I've been running this business. I know someone that's been in the business for about 30. I don't say 30 years. Let's say 10, 15 years. When I give him certain advice, I've been doing it like this and it's working. And you don't have to give them more money. If you short, it's people that you don't pay well that stay. And I'm like, but you're living the life we want to live. You're traveling. You're going everywhere you want to go. Yet you're still paying your staff 50K after many years. Okay. So it's not just the lack of structure that people run from. It's not just the money. I've come to realize that a number of entrepreneurs, I've heard stories, they have they lack empathy. So they are unable to put themselves in their staffs, you're employing me for a position. You're not giving me the necessary tools, number one. You're not putting the right structures in place that will make my job good. Then you'll be comparing me to a banker. You'll be telling me that if rain falls and you're working in bank, you will make sure you get to work before 8 o'clock. Auntie, calm down. Our bank gives them HMO. Do you supply HMO? There's so many things you hear. Things you hear. Like,
sorry to cut you. I just don't want to lose. You've dropped some very major balls, and I don't want us to drop it before we move too fast. Okay, so you talked about empathy, really, and then what does it mean to be empathetic towards your staff? Because a lot of entrepreneurs feel they are working. I don't think anybody would work as hard on your business as you would.
Titi, you'll be surprised.
Oh, okay.
You would actually be surprised. So the thing about working in one-man business is, I have worked in a one-man business. Okay. I have interned in another one. It's the fact that we know you don't have money, but we believe in your vision.
Oh.
We believe your business is going somewhere. So
people are there for the vision, not for the money.
Yes, you're already paying us peanuts. So which money? You're paying me peanuts and believing in your business and putting all my efforts into your business. People are giving their blood, people are giving their lives for someone else's business because they believe in it. The least you can do is to put yourself in their positions, put the right structures in place, protect them. People don't have insurance, people don't have first aid kits in their offices. If I injure, what happens to me? If your oven blows, what happens to the staff? if someone is cooking, like put you're in the cooking industry, you're in the food and drinks also. If you understand the way this thing goes,
Yes, I do.
there's no insurance, there's no health insurance, there's nothing for them. I will work for you, I'll use my, and you see, working for a one-man business, you're not just working men, you're using everything you have to work. It's beyond the money. How much are they being paid? We are all buying the same amount tomatoes for the same amount now. So by the time you are saying all I can afford is 50,000 naira, fine, I'll take your 50,000 naira. I will do my best. But what are you giving me back for my doing my best for you? You cannot pay me. But at least there's this Yoruba saying I like, ento ba lowo alajo.
So what's the English interpretation of that? Okay.
Yeah. If you don't have money to give me, at least you would treat me well. There are non-financial benefits you can give your staff that will make them come to work every day. We talk of employee engagement, but it's a different ball game when there is no money. Yes, we understand. But there are also several things. Have you gotten them safe? Do you know how far that will go for your employees? Like, oh, this person actually cares. We leave work late because we had an order or something came in late. There are days that I've stayed in work. I've left the office to 12.
Wow.
All for someone's business. Yes, I have. And my parents will be waiting for me, like, my parents will just be praying like, yes, it's your business. Your parents are doing the same, but guess what? It's not my business. Do you understand? I am an employee, but I'm staying late for you because I believe in what you're doing. People will say, but I'm paying them. It's beyond the money. Let's start with the money. How much are you paying? Factor it into the economy. We know it's nothing. We know it's basically peanuts. Then, so what are people really working for if they don't believe in what you are doing? Then you hear stories of people being treated shitty. Please permit me to use that word. People are treated just wrong. You speak to them anyhow. You're not managing your own emotions. You are taking it out on your staff. It's even happening in the professional sector also. 2-3 staffs and you're coming in and you're calling your staff bitches. What are you bitches doing? Like, when we hear it in the HR sector, like,
that's very wrong.
So that's why a lot of people run from SMEs, one-man businesses, because in the ending is about them and their money. You are living baby girl life if not paid salary. Yes. Titi, I've heard a lot. I've seen a lot. In this my HR business, you hear a lot. At times you do interviews. I've done in the last. So I changed jobs. I joined the new organization in February, and in the last since February, let's say since June. Let's say May, June till date, I've done over 50 interviews, frankly. I don't even want to count anymore. But one of the first things people ask me is this. Okay, do you have any questions for us? They go, do you people train? That's number one. And I understand immediately. SMEs don't train. Do you expect me to go out with the peanuts I'm earning from you to upskill myself? You want me to come back and pour it back into you that you're not willing to pay 10K Excel training for me? But you want me to use Excel for you? Okay,
Biola. I'm feeling you, and why I'm feeling you is that there's a word that says Orient Tabami. because I'm an entrepreneur, and all those things you're saying is I'm thinking back and saying, okay, so do I really check on my staffs? So we are hearing you, and I'm saying, okay, we've both agreed that we don't have too much money to throw around. We're a growing business. But then you mentioned empathy, and I like the example you gave, that have they gotten home? You mentioned training. Okay, so if, for example, I cannot afford I can just afford to pay my staff, we'll still get to how much should we pay and all of that. But let's say I can only afford to pay 50,000 in all fairness. And in all fairness, I'm not living the baby girl life. You are probably going home with more than I am going home with. But then how can we be more empathic? How do I arrange money for training how can we make, I think my question is, how can we make do with the little we have, knowing that everything boils down to money? Or what things can we do? Yeah, I think that's
there are a lot of free online courses. you can get your staff to do. So they do it on their end, yes. But coming from you, that guys, see, another thing I've learned is communication. I learned that a lot last year. Imagine owing people salaries and being able to communicate. I did that. I realized that every time I had to send out memos to talk about, to say, oh, salaries will be late or we'll be paying after, we'll be doing something, it cut a part of me. It took a part of my heart away. It was very painful. But the fact that I was open with them went a long way. They did not fight. In short, it was when I stopped sending the memos that they started having a problem.
Like you are not talking about our money again.
No, as in, it was the fact that I was not talking pains them, and that was beyond me. There are some things I could not push. I had pushed as much as I could push. But do you understand?
Yes.
This is how it's going. Ego no day. But because ego no day, and I understand that your training is important, I want you to grow also. That even by the time you leave my business, you can either start your own or even go elsewhere. There's Alison. Let's take these days, Thursdays, 4 to 5. Let's take trainings. Everybody will take trainings. We'll take a training, pick a different training. On Friday, you come and present to everybody what you've learned. Do you think these people will not be happy?
Okay. So you are saying it's the little things that actually count.
See, that's what empathy is. I cannot pay you money, but I'm still interested in investing in you. So that means that my data would go into your training. I've given you the equipment you need. People will be like, but if they'll use my training and my data to go to another business. They're going to leave you before now. They're going to leave you before.
Like they're not going to be with you forever. Okay.
Yes, no, they're going to leave you before. But are they leaving you with clear mind? See, let's talk. We're talking business, but you see, how am I going to put it? I don't believe that businesses can grow if your staff are unhappy with you. If every night they get home, they cannot say a word of prayer for you. We'll say, but in Oyinbo land, they don't pray. Do you think, what's the word? The thoughts they have towards you do not count?
It does count because they're sweating in the business.
When we like to remove spirituality, yes, let's remove spirituality, but let's look at, there are laws that govern this world we live in.
Very correct.
There are laws. Karma is one of them. Whatever you reap, you will sow. So if I'm getting home as your employee and I'm having good thoughts towards you, do you think the universe will not bring back good thoughts towards you? Do you think your business would not grow? And apart from the fact that you are doing the right things to make your business grow, please. You cannot be doing the wrong things and think prayer will work.
I get you. I get your point.
Let's put all the right things in place. Let's put all the right structures in place. It's important. But goodwill, that's the word I was looking for. Do you think goodwill of your staff doesn't matter? Then we talk about trainings. We look at free ones. There's Alison, there's Udemy. What are you doing at the other end? Some of us will just give our employees 15% of our products. They can already not afford your products. You're not paying them well enough to afford your products. You will now say you're giving them 15% off. Or give me 15%. Can they afford your products based on what you are? You're the one paying them now. You're the one that sits down every time to do payroll and be complaining that you are paying too much. You don't have enough money. But they cannot afford your products. How do you structure something for them? Apart from free birthday cakes that would go, that they can take and move on. Titi, I want to ask you a question. Do your staff eat from the pot they cook from?
They have to eat from it. Yes, they do. What you mean?
Is it that one plate, like, is there a policy that there is lunch and we take lunch from what we cook?
Yes. We have that policy that there's lunch, yes. And we take from when we cook. Yes.
And I have to ask you, is it written or is just implied?
Is in the conversation is being said. So when we recruit people,
it's implied.
Because so
you need to have it written. No, what I was just pointing out is you have to have it written. Those are the structures we're talking about.
Oh, okay. Have it written somewhere where you know that you have lunch.
You have a policy. Yes, and you're able to take freely from what we are eating. So you need to calculate it. I had to do the same when I was managing a bakery. Yes, we can eat cake when the cake is excess. when they are, but I started realizing that some people were overdoing cake, they were overdoing the mixture, so that
So that they'll be
more
there'll be more
more
at the end of the
it
day.
does not work like that. As we say, it didn't work like that.
It didn't work.
This is recipe. It didn't work. This is recipe. This is how it's spelled out. I know I can bake, so you cannot come and tell me nonsense. That's one that thing entrepreneurs need to do. You need to understand every part of your business, so nobody will bullshit you. I can bake, so I know the amount of eggs that this thing is supposed to take. I know the amount of flour this thing is supposed to take. I know the measurements. Don't come and tell me that it didn't work like that.
Okay. So Biola, before there's this question that's been jumping at me from the beginning of the conversation, and that's how do you measure happiness? Because we're talking about the goodwill of the employees, towards the business. How is happiness really measured? So let's say, for example, I can't afford to have an HR person in-house. How do I measure? Because you ask people, okay, so are we doing? You do team bonding if you can sometimes, and then you say, are you happy and stuff, and people say yes, but they are not really happy and all of that. So how do you think the happiness can be measured for staff?
Okay, so Titi, I want to start by saying don't set yourself up. Don't put yourself on something you cannot win. Some people like jollof, some people like fried rice, some people don't like rice.
Okay.
You can't make anybody happy. Your job is not, in short, some people call HR professionals now chief happiness officers. I don't agree. One, I cannot make you happy. It should not even be my job to make you happy. I'm not a clown. What I can do is to be fair to you. In our transaction of employee-employer, the minimum I can do is to be fair. That's the minimum. Then, after I'm fair with you, then we build it up with empathy. If we can, as the business is growing, we are increasing our pay, we are increasing the things we can do. We are taking our staff out. We are doing team bonding at times is, guys, come to my house, I cook for owner. Sometimes, as you said earlier, those small little things, you need to understand that you cannot make everybody happy.
Okay.
Once you realize that, fine, understand that.
So what we should be gunning for is fairness. I'm sorry to cut you. Okay.
Yes, that's the minimum. First, be fair with everybody.
Okay.
Beware of precedences. Whatever, if you're going to make what's the word for it? You're going to make you want to give someone not priority. You want to make a leeway for someone. Please permit me to use that word. You have to understand that if you make a leeway for one person, you're going to make a leeway for every other person. That's precedence.
Okay.
So you have to be aware of precedence. As I said, you can't make everyone happy, but you can have standards in place. This is what I want from my employees. This is what I want to give them. This is what I can afford to give them. A lot of times, the reason why employees become disgruntled is because they know you can afford this thing, but you choose to prioritize something else, which from their own perspective is not as important. You want me to, I'm a customer service agent. Yes, the phone I'm using is not good. You're expecting me to use my own charger to charge your company's phone. Do you understand? But you can use your charger now, and the way it comes, like, Shoko similar to
I get you. Yeah, but it's saving cost now. If you can use your charger,
you cannot be saving cost at my own expense. So you're already saving cost by hiring me. I'm already on a saved cost. Do you understand?
Okay, so you are saying
there's this.
There's one key point you dropped, Biola, which is you shouldn't save cost at the expense of your employers. Am I correct? Of your employees?
At the expense of, and no, first, don't save cost at the expense of your business. You have to. I need you to understand something as an SME. The most important thing is your business.
Okay.
After your business, then your core value, your core capital. This is your human capital. Because rice will not cook itself.
No, it won't.
Product will not build itself. Code will not write itself. It's the people that would do it. So first and foremost, what should come first is your business. The most important thing in striking a balance is your business first. Your business is always first. What are the things you need for your business to grow? One, buying a charger for your work line. It's needed for your business to grow. Understanding that your employee has a life outside of work. So once it's 5 o'clock or max 6 o'clock, do not expect that employee to be answering DMs. Okay. If you want your DMs to be answered past 6, sister, sit down in your DM and be answering your DM by yourself.
Okay.
Because we'll say, but we're not we're a small business. We cannot see. People make this example. People always use that excuse that I'm a small business, so I have to answer every customer. That's not true. I also buy from small businesses online, and they have policies. Once it's 6 o'clock, they will not answer you. We will wait. Anybody that cannot wait is to move on. But Titi, have you not waited for businesses to open? I'm not talking of big industries or small businesses. They have their policies. It's there 8 to 5. We will wait till 5. Once it's past 5 like this, we'll start begging.
But Biola,
they don't answer us.
The fear is that you are looking for more customers. Like the customers are
not
not
looking
rich.
For no, Titi, that business that we used to make sure that we used to quickly message them before 5. You think they're not looking for business? But they've made it their standard. Cakes and cream does not work on Saturdays. No, this is Saturdays. No, they work on Saturdays. They have a policy. They close at a particular time. They don't answer anybody after that time. Yet they have grown. Policies matter. Structures matter. We tell certain people, get a website. Automate certain processes. You say, no, they should be answering DMs by 8 p.m., 9 p.m. You're already paying peanuts. So you're not employing bots. You're not automating processes. You're expecting me that worked since 8 o'clock to 6 o'clock to continue. I have a life too now.
Okay,
that's one thing. That's putting your employees, understanding your employees and balancing it. Those are the kind of things I'm saying. So you ask the question, how do we make people happy? We can't make people happy. Okay. But we can put fair and good policies in place. Okay. Number 1 is 5 o'clock is closing time. Please give me till 6 o'clock to answer DMs. After that, you see, your customers will adjust. I know a business that I buy from that she does not answer DMs. She will post it on her Instagram. You will go to her link or our website to buy. If you don't go to our website to buy, she's not answering. She's selling. We know these rules and regulations. We respect those businesses.
Yes.
And we follow it. So what is our own fear?
So are you invariably saying that you should respect that your employees have a life outside the business, or they should have a life outside the business?
Yes, we need to. Not only should they have it, we need to respect it. We're not already paying overtime. You're already not paying overtime. One, you're not paying well. You don't have benefits that other big businesses have. You're not paying overtime. You now want their time after work. Come on now, let this thing balance. Let this thing balance. Those are the kind of things you put in place to make sure your employees are fair. Those are the fair practices you should have in place.
Wow.
There will be situations that will warrant that they will have to work long hours. Yes, there are situations. Even at that, you don't enforce it. You don't come from an entitlement mentality. You will come, please. This is the situation on ground. We need your help. Let's work together. This is the goal we want to achieve. It has worked for me. Time over time. All these things I'm saying are things I have done, things I have fought for, and they've worked over time. There are people that have worked with me that I can call them, they won't answer me because they know where I stand. And see, I need to come back to those small acts of kindness. They go a long way.
A long way.
Your staff is ill. Please, I want to point this out before your staff is ill. You don't provide HMO. So she's paying from her pocket. At the end of the month, you even give her 5k extra.
To say for the money you spend.
Yes. I know it's not as much as you spend though, but let me manage this. You're already not. You should give me HMO, but you're not giving me. But at least 2k. You know the way we do it, we say in this Yoruba that sorry that it's small, but if you say it's small, you're a thief. If I say I cannot give it because it's small, then I'm stingy. If it's 2k, squeeze it into the person's hand. That's sorry. I know that you spent money on malaria, drugs and all, but let me. Those things go a long way. You hear your staff has been admitted. You're not doing anything. Pele. Sleep well, oh. Some people will give you time off. You resume back. Have you thought of how they would get the money back based on the amount you are paying them?
Solid questions.
If it cannot come from the business, it should come from your pocket.
Solid questions, Biola. But Biola, this conversation is so interesting that I think that what we'll do is I would wrap up this podcast and then we'll have another one where we'll bring you up to help us throw light on structure, building structure as a small business and really understanding empathy, or maybe even have a podcast on empathy and all of that.